Good Friday morning, friends. Thanks for being with us. I'm Amy Lang.
And I'm Ryan Armani. Right to our top story. We are following a developing story out of Detroit. A husband and wife who work for the Detroit Police Department charged with child abuse. Police arrested Jared and Liana Shaw at their home in Flint. According to sources close to the investigation, the couple put their 12 and 15-year-old kids into a police chokehold. The Shaws have both been suspended from the force. DPD says Internal Affairs will determine appropriate departmental charges, and Flint police are now investigating. Well, this morning, after just 30 minutes of deliberations, Jaylin Brazier, the man accused of killing his cousin Zion Foster, is found guilty.
Yeah, the trial coming to a close just over a week after it began. Zion was killed more than 2 years ago. Fox News' Brendan Hudson has more from the courtroom and reaction from her family.
As to count one, how do you find it?
Guilty.
Tears of gratitude in the courtroom after a jury convicted Jaylin Brazier of murdering his 17-year-old cousin through marriage, Zion Foster.
My body was trembling, but man, when it was red, and it was just so matter of fact, I was so happy they saw. She was loved. She is loved. She was fought for, and this is the result. So I'm happy that in the end, this is justice.
The circumstances in this case lead to one inescapable and obvious conclusion, and that's that inside that house that night, there was some sort of sexual encounter that was resisted, and Zion paid for her life because of that.
During the closing arguments, prosecutors described Jaylin Brazier as a cold-blooded killer who tried to cover up his crime by putting Zion's body in a dumpster. Prosecutors poked holes in Brazier's story that Zion died after smoking weed.
If he was innocent, what he should have done, if this really was some momentary panic that he had that night, he should have made sure her body was found the very next morning, because that would have exonerated him.
Brazier's attorney summed up his closing argument by saying without a body, there's not enough evidence to convict Brazier.
It's just theories and hypotheses, and they want you to be emotionally charged and convict Jaylin on insufficient evidence that does not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did what he's accused of.
But after a 30-minute deliberation, the jury returned to say Brazier was guilty on all counts. It was relief for Zion's parents, who've undergone an exhaustive search for justice, and their daughter's body, which still hasn't been found.
I just want to say to the jury, thank you. You saved a lot of lives today. You saved a lot of families' heartbreak and misery. And for Jaylin, you thought you were smart. You tried to be slick. The people saw you for what you are. You ain't. And I hope you never get out.
In Detroit, Brandon Hudson, Fox 2 News.
Hey, the other big trial we've been following, the wife of murder victim Daniel Hutchinson is on the stand right now, testifying against their former attorney, now accused of having her husband killed. Marissa Hutchinson admitting their high-end jewelry business had a huge influx of cash during the pandemic, $10 million of which they were not reporting to the IRS. Instead, prosecutors say they were essentially laundering money for their clients. And then their lawyer, Marco Bisbikis, came up with a plan to launder the millions they were pocketing.
At some point, conversations opened up between myself, my husband, and Marco about this influx of cash. And Marco had suggested that we could bring it to him, and that over time, we could put it through his IOTA account. And with that, he would be able to pay things off for us.
Hutchinson testifying Bezvikis put the money in an account that allowed them to purchase real estate, vehicles, and other expenses. Bezvikis is charged with plotting to have the Hutchinsons killed in order to inherit their millions after writing himself into their will. The trial's streaming right now, and we'll have much more on Fox 2 News at 5.
Police agencies across the state teaming up to bust a massive car theft ring. 6 suspects were taken into custody. They're accused of stealing more than 400 vehicles, disabling the keys, then reprogramming them onto a special device. In all, more than 200 officers were involved in executing the arrest warrants.
Anyone who thinks that these are not serious crimes is really uninformed.
With the younger generation at this point, it's all about money.
The suspects are each facing multiple felony charges that could send them to prison for decades. Thieves target a local man's lawn business. These guys are accused of driving off in a black pickup truck, pulling a trailer full of lawn equipment. The heist happening Wednesday at a home on Outer Drive in Van Dyke, that's on the city's east side. And get this, on their way, they also hit a second equipment trailer.
It slowed me down for the last couple of days. I wasn't able to do any cutting. It took a toll on me. It took everything. I couldn't even come out here and I couldn't do anything.
Come on, guys. Please, anyone with information asked to call Detroit police.
And in Wixom, a 1-year-old girl is recovering in the hospital after being attacked by her family's dogs. Police tell us the baby was mauled by her grandparents' 2 pit bulls Wednesday night on Nissen Court. That's off of West Maple in Wixom. The child is currently in critical condition with severe injuries to her face, lower back, and legs. It is unknown if the grandparents will be charged. And we're learning new details about a police chase that left 6 people hurt on Detroit's west side. The crash happening Monday at James Cousins and Outer Drive.
Yeah, one woman was ejected from an Uber car. Now, as Fox 2's Camila Miri reports, police are sharing more about what led up to the chase.
It started with a 911 call on Sunday.
I just seen her, and her face, she had a black eye, and he's like holding her hostage, and you need to go up there and find her.
Southfield Dispatch received a tip that a female residing at the Red Roof Inn was being human trafficked by a parole absconder named Ricky Edwards Jr.
Police tried to track down Edwards, a felon and a parole absconder, but were unsuccessful. However, the following day, on Monday, May 13th,
the officers were conducting a surveillance operation at the hotel when they observed Ricky Edwards Jr. along with Paul Dave and 2 young white females exit their hotel rooms.
Officers tried to pull the car over, driven by Paul Dave, and initially he stopped, but then took off on the lodge, and the chase was on. Dashcam video capturing it all. At one point, the police driving on the shoulder. Investigators say at times Paul Dave was driving well over 100 miles an hour. But the chase ended in Detroit at West Outer Drive and the Lodge Service Drive when the suspect's car, a white Chevy Blazer, crashed into a black Kia, being driven by an Uber driver.
The Uber driver did have a passenger. It was a 26-year-old female who was seated in the rear of the Kia Niro, and she was ejected from that vehicle. She sustained serious injuries and was transported to an area hospital for advanced medical treatment.
48-year-old Ricky Edwards Jr. seen here surrendering to police, a broken arm as a result of the crash. He was on parole for second-degree murder. Paul Dave charged with fleeing and eluding, and the 2 females who were with them taken to an area hospital for observation.
Understanding that these women are afraid, I will appeal to both women. You're not facing any charges. You are a victim of human trafficking and or have been forced into a life of a sex worker. However, we can provide resources to assist you. Both men are in custody, and you are free from their control.
As of now, the men have not been charged with human trafficking. In Southfield, Camila Miri, Fox 2 News.
Well, there's a plan to put a stop to wrong-way drivers. A number of ramps in Wayne and Oakland counties are going high-tech to save lives. Those counties are getting wrong-way driver detection devices. Cameras capture drivers getting on the highway the wrong way and alert them with bright flashing lights. They'll flash until the driver turns around or is out of sight.
We're going to alert drivers that they're going in the wrong direction, yes, it'll save lives.
It's overdue. Of course, you're going to have some people saying, well, they have a right to privacy. Well, I have a right to feel safe.
And now the attack is coming to both sides of 696 at Woodward, parts of 375 and I-75. The technology is expected to be up and running by the end of the year.